What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to episode 61 of our Madden 20 Connected Franchise Mode. Here finishing up the 2024 season with Week 16 at home against divisional rival New Orleans Saints, and then finish up Week 17 against my beloved Philadelphia Eagles in search of 14 wins. Two very strong teams. You look at quarterback performance. I mean, the record for the New Orleans Saints might not be off the chart, but when you look at how well they're performing individually, they got one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. JT Daniels, the USC product, 38 touchdowns to 10 picks. He's leading the league there in terms of yards. He's, fringe, he's in that top 5. This is going, look, and even the next week, you got Carson Wentz, who's playing at a very, very high level for the Philadelphia Eagles. He has 34 touchdowns and 10 picks. So while we like to admire and marvel in the success that our beloved Derek Carr has been able to put up this season, 34 touchdowns, 10 picks, we're going up against two quarterbacks in the final stretch as we look to secure anything and everything as we head into this offseason. We are the number one team in the NFL. We are the number one seed in the NFC. Nothing can change. And we have been unbelievably lucky when it comes to injuries this season. We have had, I think, Isaiah Simmons at linebacker has been the only significant injury. We've missed a couple guards, a couple tackles. I've actually never seen. This actually might be the most I've had banged up offensive line, but we have not missed a single star player at any point during the season. We've had Sanders, Evans, Schwartz, Carr, Godwin. O.J. Howard hasn't missed any time. You flip on the defense. Vita Vea's been good. Wooden's been good. Devin White, the safeties, the corners. We've been money. We've been very, very pleased and luckily to be healthy. So what we're going to do with everything locked up, we are going to play. Because when you look at MVP, Derek Carr's going to have the record. I think what we're going to do is we'll play Derek Carr against the Saints just because that's a divisional game. And then week 17, we got to remember, we drafted a successor. We drafted a guy that we thought could be a franchise quarterback here in Brennan Martino out of Boston College. The young rookie has been just antsy to get an opportunity to get some regular season play. So I might even, depending on the score, halfway through that Saints game, we might pull our starters. But, you want to, I feel like week 16's a little early to start shutting guys down. Week 17, we could definitely look at it, but we'll see if we can get Trey Sanders some more yards. We'll see if we can maybe solidify Derek Carr getting an MVP, because that would be a nice feather in the cap, a great full circle for Derek Carr through 60 episodes of this franchise mode. But it all starts here against the 7-7 Saints. We're going into it with at least the first half with all our starters. Let's get into it. Oh, let's go, Juice! O.J. Howard battling at the goal line. It's still on the 1. Interesting play call we got coming up here, as I do want to get Derek Carr as many touchdowns, as at least in this first half, as humanly possible. Boom. We'll just go right there. Anthony Schwartz, that 97 speed, just like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious and that black Challenger off the line. That is how much torque, that is how much speed Anthony Schwartz brings, especially when you only need 1 yard to go. Almost uncoverable. Big opening drive touchdown. Touchdown number 35 on the year for Derek Carr. Oh, great. There's the injury. Haven't had one all year. Hope it's not bad. Mike Evans has back spasms. Okay, we'll bring in a little slant cheese here in the red zone just to get Derek Carr another touchdown. Nothing crazy. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's a good ball. Between the linebackers, Chris Godwin gets his 10th receiving touchdown of the season. I might actually have to pull Derek Carr at the end of the first quarter. All right, a little bit of a pulse from the New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara takes it in from 1 yard out. Oh, come on. Big Mike. I know you got back spasms, but you got to catch that. Oh, yes, let's go, Mr. Godwin. Get caught from behind. Big time touchdown. Am I padding my stats? Maybe. I'm maybe padding my stats. Just maybe. Mike Evans, 75 yards. Oh, Tony P out the backfield for the 5th passing touchdown of the first half for Derek Carr. I love Tony Pollard. He's my favorite player in this game. He's my favorite Madden 20 player. Point blank, period. Oh, there's touchdown number 40. The Saints are not going away. Pretty much anytime we score, they score. But Derek Carr to Chris Godwin for his 40th passing touchdown of the season. 6th here of this game. So only one play to put this game away. That's fullback dive with the best fullback in the National Football League, Chris Warren III. 50 ball. And Tony P gets himself in the end zone as all of our backups are now in the game. And it's crazy when your backups are in and you still have Tony Pollard and Anthony Schwartz out there. Oh, and then Sanders comes in for relief duty, runs over a Saint defender. He's done for the day. 85 yards, 9 touches. You're a monster. Get out. Get out. We need you for the playoffs. Psych! C4 special. 60 bomb. I mean, look, the Saints are going to score 50 as well. This game's just ridiculous. And in the final game of the season where I think Derek Carr might have locked up league MVP, we dropped 60. Saints almost dropped 50. It was just an absurd game. An absurd game. There's no other way to put it. How are we, like, this has been twice, though, on All Madden. We have got these numbers. So it's either, like, All Madden will always give you, I think, 2 to 3 games a year. That's either it's going to feel like you're playing on rookie, or 2 to 3 games a year that, like, you're going to lose no matter what you do. Your quarterback that can do this. Your quarterback that can go for 506, he will actually just have some weeks where he throws 3 interceptions and can't complete anything. Like, I think back to, who did we lose to again? Like 3 weeks ago? I couldn't complete shit. It was the Redskins. The Redskins game. I mean, you know, you live and die by that. Martino got a little bit of action. He will be our starter to close out the regular season. He was 6 of 7, 59 yards. I mean, it is the John Gruden system. He's a QB guru. He's a QB whisperer. He makes things work. He makes things happen. Trey Sanders, 89 yards and a touchdown. He is going to be wrapped up in bubble wrap through week 17 in the first round bye. But Tony Pollard gets his chance to be our lead back. We got a touchdown today for Chris Warren, but we're going to feed Pollard next week. I don't know how many more yards he needs to do to get 1,000. I do know he needs 1 more rushing touchdown to get 10. So that'd be something that we can hang his hat on. Receiving, huge days for our big targets, as you know, it's their you know, they're good. What do you call it? What's that thing when you do a play, you come out and you bow? It's the curtain call here because they're not playing next week. And Chris Godwin, who's been sensational, 8 catches, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. We had 68 for Howard, 200 yards, and a touchdown for Mike Evans. Tony Pollard had another touchdown out the backfield. Schwartz, who I'm probably going to play him a little bit next week. Him in session, I'm expecting them to have big games with Martino. Defensively, Isaiah Simmons finally back healthy. 11 tackles on the day. We got a sack from Jennings and Jeff Simmons, an interception from Thomas Graham Jr. We knock out the Saints in a game that over 100 points were scored. And now we get to finish up the season against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we get to see what our backups can bring to the table. And now we are here, week 17, 13-2. It's time for all the backups to show open. And Derek Carr's final start of the year gets NFC Offensive Player of the Week, 549, 6 touchdowns. He's unbelievable. He's really had a revolutionary type season. You look at where he's at statistically right now. He is first in yards, second in who's catching him in touch. Is it JT Daniels still? I mean, JT Daniels did have a big game. It is. He's sitting there with 41. Carr's 40. I can't do it. There's no way I could jeopardize. I want to beat him. I want Derek Carr to have the most touchdowns, but there's no way I could jeopardize him getting hurt. Just to, you know, we might already have it unlocked. They usually do tend to give. That's a lie, actually. That's actually a lie. He might not win it. Oh, if he doesn't win MVP, he's getting robbed. I'm nervous because I'm going to be so mad if he doesn't win it. Okay. So that's what we're sitting at there. we got to spend some coach XP here. We got 4,000 for Mr. Gruden, which pretty much reset when we left the Raiders. So I'm going to make a quarterback boost just so that we can have that extra training for Martino going forward. Because, Derek Carr, are we going to bring him back? I don't know. We kind of brought him in as a hitman, a hired hitman for 1 year to come in and execute John Gruden's system. I don't think we ever thought in our wildest dreams would be 13-2 and he'd be putting up the kind of numbers that he did. But let's just get into this regular season finale against the Philadelphia Eagles and hope I don't get crazy enough to play Derek Carr at any point and risk injury. Because we already saw, we had a flare-up with Mike Evans. We don't want that happening, especially when we have secured everything. There's nothing else to play for except padding your stats, and we've already fallen into this trap with the Raiders. Remember with the Raiders, we got John Ross, broke his leg right before the playoff run. Come on, C4. Use your head, C4. Don't do this.
Let's go, boys. Bring it up.
I'm giving him a quarter. If it goes anything like last week, if we can get him 1 or 2 touchdowns, I'm giving him a quarter. Why am I like this? Why am I the way I am? All right, we're in the red zone. Like I said, I'm giving Derek Carr 1 quarter. He's yet to be hit, which is pretty good. So we're going to see if we can get him to go on the play action. And he gets destroyed by Fletcher Cox. Literally, anytime I've said anything bad, hasn't got hit. No injuries. Mike Evans got hurt. Hasn't got hit. Gets racked up by Fletcher Cox here. We're just going to stop, saying bad things. We are going to try and throw this one into the end zone. Godwin's out there for some reason. I had to have one of my starters at wide receiver. I don't know what we can do. Oh, and he gets hit again. Screw it. No, we're pulling him. I don't care. I don't care if we don't. We should win MVP. If not, Madden's dumb anyways. Let's get Martino in there. Protect the franchise. Winning a Super Bowl is a lot more important. All right, we got Martino here in the red zone. The young buck throws it up. And just like that, Jake Ferguson goes up against Justin Evans, the former Buccaneer. Comes down, and that is the first career passing touchdown in the young career of Brendan Martino. Oh, there we go. Getting tackled in the end zone. Still gets his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. Tony Pollard. The Bucs still have a little bit of pulse here in Week 17. Come on. Bad throw. Bad throw. Will Harris gets his second pick. It's annoying. Ooh. Ooh, Tony P with the juke. Bringing it up to the red zone. He's up to 83 yards on the game. Any points here makes it a 1-score game. 3rd and goal. Who wants it? Oh, okay. Take the field goal. Let's go, big O.J. Howard on the slants. Cheese to pull this game back within a score. Oh, wow. Someone watch their film. The 3rd pick of the day for Martino. They pick off one of our favorite routes, maybe even more so than the slants. The pass to Pollard out the backfield, pick 6. That might have been it. That might have been the final nail in the coffin here on getting 14 wins on the season. Sanders comes in for the stretch. If he can get in and get a stretch play here and there, he will. Gets the touchdown. Didn't want to use him, but, these guys want to win every game. And we fall to the Philadelphia Eagles, 41-34. Still great effort from our squad. You showing off our depth, showing off that we can keep up with anyone. Martino, not the greatest debut game, but, we pulled Derek Carr as soon as he got it roughed up a couple times. Martino finished with a lot of yards. In Buck fashion, 430 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, however, 3 interceptions, 1 pick 6. A little bit of a rough go. We got 83 yards and a touchdown for Tony Pollard. Sanders came in for 1 play, got a rushing touchdown. Receiving big games for O.J. Howard, 9 catches, 182 yards and a touchdown. We have 8 for 100 for Tony Pollard, 5 for 150 for Anthony Schwartz. Jake Ferguson, the backup tight end, got himself a touchdown as well. I also feel like this was a game to get our sack numbers up. Our offensive line played very good for the last 5-6 games, and out of nowhere, we're just giving up an absurd amount of sacks. Still not on a Trent Brown level, but I think when we view the final season stats, it's going to look kind of ugly. That's what we're going to do to finish up the video, is see where we finished everywhere statistically. On the defense, Devin White got 10 tackles. We get a sack and 3 TFLs for Vita Vea. That's a really, really strong performance. However, everything else, it was just, it's the last game of the year. It doesn't mean anything. And we got in pretty healthy, so that's good. So that will do it for the regular season. We sit here with our first round bye, 13-3, which I think matches the highest record we ever got for the Raiders. We are the number one team in the NFL, far and away the top dogs in the NFC. Niners, Eagles, and Giants. I mean, that'll be actually an interesting rematch. A full-strength Bucks against the Philadelphia Eagles. Revenge game, if you will. Maybe we'll play them in the opening round. Everything about this team was really, really good. Look at the offense. I mean, again, we started off, Derek Carr exceeded by a mile expectations. I thought this year we might be able to contend for the playoffs. Might be able to sneak in 9-10 wins, maybe. I didn't think he was going to have the kind of year and should be the MVP when all is said and done. Yeah, it's really good team. Really good team. Really fun team. I had fun playing down the stretch. For every headache, there seemed to be, at least this year, for every like 1 or 2 bad games, there was a stretch of 2 or 3 really, really fun games that did, we could just aerate it out. We had that game against New Orleans, the game against the Raiders, a revenge game where we seemingly every drive would score a touchdown. Looking at the final season stats, Derek Carr finishes first in yards, second in touchdowns, should be the MVP, which we'll look at in just a second. However, I don't think he is because I didn't get any notifications. I don't know. But Derek Carr finished the year 4,800 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, that breaks any of the previous 2 years he had with us in Vegas. In Vegas, he had 35-7, 34-11. But shout out to that last year with the Minnesota Vikings. But, Derek Carr and John Gray, it's just a match made in heaven. And who knows what would happen with Vegas if we didn't move on from Derek Carr and bring in Trevor Lawrence. From a rushing standpoint, we got 1 yard shy of 1,417 touchdowns for Trey Sanders, 800 yards and a touchdown for Tony Pollard. Hey, we might as well add that 1 rushing touchdown for Derek Carr. He has 41 on the year. Receiving, we got 78 catches, 1,380 yards, and 12 touchdowns for Chris Godwin. 70 catches, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns for Mike Evans. Just finished 12 yards shy of getting O.J. Howard, 1,000 on the year, 9 touchdowns. Tony Pollard out the backfield, 73 catches, 750 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he finishes, just shy of 1,600 total yards. He has 13 total. We are just getting unreal production out of this backfield. And I will stand on a tape and shout from the top of my lungs that Trey Sanders and Tony Pollard is the greatest Madden running backfield I've ever had on the channel. Swartz as a very distant, really 5th option here. Still 500 yards on the day. Really good. This is gonna look bad. So Niang gave up 24. Rosengarten gave up 17. The rest of the O-line did pretty well, but my tackles are always really, really bad. Defensively, Devin White finished with 121 tackles, 10 TFLs, 3 sacks, 2 picks. Now, last year, Devin White and Isaiah Simmons both went over 100 tackles. But like I said, we had an injury. Simmons missed, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, still finished 53 tackles on the year, but it was more the Devin White show. Really, really good production. We have 11 sacks, 15 TFLs, Anthony Jennings, 13 TFLs, 10 sacks for the rookie Brian Wooden, who should have a Defensive Rookie of the Year nod. Really, really good year from Vita Vea, 19 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. Sacks were down. He's getting up there in age just a little bit, but that still is a really, really good season. Even Simmons, as the 4th option on that defensive line, he got after, especially in the run game. 5 picks, Murphy Bunting. It was tied for first in the league. We'll see where that stands. From a kicking standpoint, Jake Elliott, 20-22. I think we shanked one and we missed. We had one that was blocked. I got super angry about it. Johnny Townsend, 28 punts. This was actually a down year for our punter. We didn't punt it at all, very rarely, because our offense was so good. But we didn't get it a lot of times in the 20s. Because a lot of times when it was a 3 and out, it was deep in our territory. We weren't stalling out on drives for Johnny Townsend really to coffin kick. I don't think we had one gong this entire year. So, wish that was good. Tony Pollard, if you're going all-purpose yards, he's well over 2,000, 2,600 total yards. It's unreal. He should make the Pro Bowl for sure. So looking at where our guys kind of stack up against the rest of the NFL. So for yards, Derek Carr's there at 1. For touchdowns, 2 behind JT Daniels. But obviously we saw who's better. We beat them twice this year. For the rushing standpoint, Zeke got the rushing title with 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns. Kamara's there. How are the Saints not better? They like the best quarterback, best whatever. So there's Sanders showing up, fringe top 5 for rushing yards, tied for second in rushing touchdowns. On receiving standpoint, Godwin at 1, Mike Evans at 2 for yards. For touchdowns, that's ridiculous. But Mike Evans, second place in the NFL in total touchdowns. Godwin tied for third. On the offensive line, hey, there we go. Thank you, Jack Conklin. It's the first year we're not first and second in total sacks. Connor Williams right up there like we know and expect, but of course we are going to have the number 1 guy. When it comes to tackles, yeah, we're well off the mark here. I mean, we played so well offensively. The defense didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. Vita Vea led the league, or tied for first in TFLs with 19. Myles Garrett had 15, some sacks there. Wooden making the top list. Best rookie by a mile on this list. And hey, there we go. It's a tie, but still tied for first in interceptions. Sean Murphy-Bunting with 5. Tied with John Johnson, Nickel Roby-Coleman, and DJ Reed of the Detroit Lions. Now looking at the yearly awards, MVP. Huh? Huh? 10th? He is the number 1. Okay. Oh my God. Does it? 41 touchdowns for Derek Carr. 40 touchdowns, Russell. John Gruden's coach of the year, John Gruden. Like, is this list inversed? How? How broken is Madden when the quarterback on the best team with the best stats is 10th? Barely made the cutoff for the MVP award. NFC Offensive Player of the Year. What? Is there something I don't know? Do a couple of his games don't count? Defensive Player of the Year went to Bobby Wagner. Devin White at 10. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Martino played 1 game, coming in at 5th. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Brian Wooden. I like seeing that. Quarterback went to Derek Carr. Cool. Trey Sanders, number 4 for running backs. Wide receiver went to Mike Evans. Godwin at 2. We're not going to have anyone, I don't think, on this list. The D-line, Alfred Jennings at 3. Vita Vea at 4. Wooden at 5. Linebacker Patty Fisher won that award. Devin White coming in at 5. DB went to DJ Reed. Sean Murphy, 3. Jake Elliott, your best kicker. This is just... That makes me so angry. That makes me so angry. Like, what? All I want to know is just, what's the point? I know, it's something people want. People generally would love to have one of their players that they played with, that they dedicated probably so far this year, 4 hours of doing an entire season with, that when he plays exceptionally well, he's going to get rewarded with an MVP, not barely make the cutoff. That is a joke. Let's be honest, even JT Daniels had really, really good numbers. He came at 8. Oh, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's literally, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. No conspiracy theories. No, there's C4 going on about a rant about Matt. It's broken. That's it. It's broken. What I'm gonna do? I can get in touch with developers. I'm gonna show them this because this is broken. There's something wrong with it. So yeah, this is where we're sitting. 13-3. We might as well sim ahead a week, find out who we're going to be taking on in our first playoff game. And it is going to be the Minnesota Vikings, the team that Derek Carr did not get re-signed from last year. Minnesota Vikings let Derek Carr walk into free agency and brought us back into our life. So that is how we're going to kick off the next episode with a big divisional playoff game at home against the 9-7 Minnesota Vikings. So that does it for me today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. We all know Derek Carr is the unofficial People's MVP, and that's what's going to help me sleep again tonight. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys back here in a couple of days to kick off the playoffs. Peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the kid, Mr. Consistent, I'm doing